So Revenue Forum is a non-profit initiative started by me in 2008. And currently we organize webinars. We hold these on Thursdays on a regular basis around every other month. We have half-day events in 12 cities and 10 countries. The coming seminars will be in Vilnius, Riga and Tallinn from the 16th to the 18th of April. I will give you some more information about this at the end of this webinar. And we have whole day events. This is a unique hybrid event held simultaneously online as well as physically in Stockholm, London and Milan, and more cities to come also from next year. The coming event is set to be on Thursday, 30th of January, and you will be able to see all recordings from the past events still. I will tell you how to get access to them at the end of this webinar, and I will also tell you how to register already now for our coming event. The topic of this webinar episode is the power of personalization. And we chose this topic as it is one of the buzzwords within the hospitality industry, together with automation, AI, and machine learning. Travelers today want to feel that you see their individual needs and you adapt your offer and communication to them personally. With today's technology, this is very well possible, but is it enough? And which technology is best for you? We've invited an expert of 3 people to show their insights and answer your questions. Now let's go over to introduce our speakers of today. Our expert panel consists of 3 speakers. We'll each get 7 minutes to talk, and we use a Pecha Kucha format to do this, which means that each speaker has prepared 20 slides, which will change automatically after 20 seconds. If you've never done these kinds of things, I can tell you it's stressful, but it's really cool. Now, when it comes to the introduction, being the organizer, let me start with myself. My name is Annemarieke Bansky, and apart from being the organizer of revenue forums and events and so on, I'm the founder and CEO of Tacticon Consultancy. What we offer mainly is like 2 things: revenue management outsourcing and tech stack investigations for those who are not really happy with their tech stack currently. From last year, we also have a soft brand called Tacticon Hotels. It's for independent hotels who want to remain independent together with us. And that's all I had to say. So let's go over to our next speaker, and we will start with Jeroen Vaassen.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeroen Vaassen. I'm the co-founder and COO at ExpectMe. We're a room selection platform for hospitality, and I'll talk to that a little bit later on. And today, apart from that, we want to provide you with a slightly different perspective on the guest journey.
Great. And I'm Allard Alfrink. I'm a business development director for Cendyn, look after the EMEA region. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you as well about the power of personalization, not just on an individual touch point, but throughout the booking journey of your hotel guest.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sonia Merena, and I'm with the Hotels Network, looking after the Northern European market. So we're working with both independents and hotel chains within the region, specifically helping on the personalization side of things on your direct channel. Today, I'll be highlighting a lot of real case examples of how to apply personalization throughout your direct booking journey. Thank you.
No, thank all of you. Let's immediately go over to our next speaker, which is Jeroen Vaassen. Jeroen, good luck.
Thank you so much. As I said, I'm co-founder of ExpectMe. We're a startup based out of Antwerp, Belgium, and we're focusing primarily on the European market, but actually have clients all over the world. I'll talk a little bit about the product itself, and then hopefully answer some questions in the end if you have them. So I would say, without further ado, Joanna, let's go. So we all know that personalization is core to the hospitality, and Anne-Marie also mentioned on it, but we spend a lot of time wowing our guests while they're staying in the hotel. However, we don't always do a great job during the booking process. And today we want to provide a slightly different perspective that might inspire you to rethink the way that we sell to our guests. And I always try to look for insights from other industries to inspire innovative thinking and overcome biases. And the airline industry is a logical one, as it's closely related to hospitality. And Expect Me, as you can imagine, has certainly taken inspiration from the industry. But we're not the only ones. Muse recently published an interesting article where they speak about the power of upselling, the importance of reviewing the entire guest journey, and the need to leverage innovative technology. And so the airline industry is much younger than the hotel industry, yet in some areas it's already far ahead. And we often share the same customers when the passengers become our guests. So it's great to compare the booking processes of airlines and hotels. So it all starts with a clear product definition when you're buying your seat. 3 very simple travel classes, a clear comparison of products and their features. And actually, in that way, passengers can really understand the difference in price as each of these features have a clear value to them when they make their purchase decision. Then once you've selected your travel class, you're offered a choice of rates. Again, we only see 3 simple options with a very clear comparison grid. You can easily identify the differences between the rates to understand what you're paying for and to make an informed decision during your purchase of a flight and a ticket. And only once you've made your purchase decision, you will then be offered various options to personalize your flight. You can select your own individual seat from a floor plan, again, with clearly outlined differences between seats to show the value. And then depending on the airlines, other add-ons are offered, such as insurance, early boarding, meals, etc., etc. And now let's look at that process for hotels. I think that the way that people book hotels has changed in recent years, with more bookings happening electronically and all the different booking engines having an influence on the guest experience. However, the fundamentals of our offering hasn't really changed. It stayed the same by offering room types and rate plans when people book their hotels. And here I actually show an example of a resort I recently tried to book for a short weekend trip. And the starting point was really an overload of choices. In total, there were 11 room types to choose from, and you had to scroll down a long list. I'm only showing you 3 here. You really need to click on the room details to see the descriptions, trying to remember them as you work through all the room types and compare them. And the same goes for the rate plans. Again, an overload of choice. The resort offers multiple rate plans with little information at first glance. And again, you need to click on each of them one by one to see the details. Strangely enough as well, not all rate plans are available for all of the room types. Why? I'm not really sure. And then when you go to the to actually compare the room content, even if you click on each of the room types to understand the differences, I'm not sure you really know what you book. Each room types, as you can see, has a wide variety of sizes. The text description on the bottom is actually the same or almost similar for all of the room types. And I'm not really sure that only the Premier Villa has a feature like a minibar and a closet, so also there something's broken. So the room content is almost always similar without clear differentiation of products, and guests get lost in endless clicks. And the same actually happens with the rate plans. Many clicks, you have to remember the details, no easy way to compare as everything is heavily text-based. We offer rigid packages, and I'm really not sure if all this choice really adds value or if we actually get lost during the booking process. So to summarize, the airline offers clear product and rate differentiation, just a few choices and an easy side-by-side comparison to make a decision. They focus on converting the booking and then offer multiple options to personalize. Hotels, on the other hand, offer so many options that you need a PhD to come to a decision. Some people think that personalization means giving endless choices to their guests. Instead, I would claim that guests often get lost and just end up booking the easy option, maybe the cheapest rate, or worse, they go to an OTA. We don't actually offer true personalization, as we still sell by room types and let the hotel assign the room, and we create these rigid packages instead of letting guests create their own by offering them add-on products and services that they can choose from. So maybe it's time to rethink the guest journey and the booking process. To start by only showing guests what they really need, a room and a rate. And after that, you can focus on selling them what they want to personalize their stay. So let's have a look at some of the learnings that we can adopt from the airline booking process. At first, I would focus on closing the sale and convert the booking. Keep things simple and offer just a few very clearly defined room types and rates with content that's enriching and easy to compare. In the end, what we really need is a name and a credit card to confirm a booking, plus a contact method for a continuation of the guest journey. Then in the second phase, guests have more time to actually dream and discover. And that's where we can monetize on personalization. You can empower guests to tailor their own stay by selecting an individual room and add as many package elements as they want. Today, no OTA has access to this, so we actually might drive people back to our own booking channels. And by understanding the individual guest preferences, we can further enhance our offerings to meet the guest needs. So the airline industry is already taking advantage of this revenue potential, as 34% of passengers pay to select their seat. Can you imagine the incremental revenue and profitability if a third of your guests would pay just €5 to select their room? Market studies show that the demand is there and guests are ready. Now it's up to you. ExpectMe can actually help you with this, as we offer a room selection platform where guests can select and book their individual room from an interactive floor plan, just like you choose your seat on the airplane. The hotel is fully flexible in providing rich content to describe each room through text, images, embedded videos, virtual tours, you name it. Once a guest has selected their room, you can offer add-on products and services to further personalize your stay and create your own package. And all of this powered by a full two-way integration with cloud-based PMSs for full automation. We see the availability of each room and offer that to the guest to choose from. So if you already assigned a room to another guest or the room is out of order, it will not show as available. And once the guest has selected their room, we'll update the reservation in the PMS. So again, one less task for the front desk team. We hope we've given you some inspiration to rethink your booking process and offerings. At the same time, we understand this is an evolution and not a revolution. So don't think you need to throw away all your room types and rate plans before you actually can get started. Our platform is fully flexible to support your existing setup, making the room selection feature available to your guest, and you can then make changes later, slowly, based on the actual results and guest feedback to simplify your product offerings. As the Muse article highlighted, what we can learn from the airline industry is to leverage technology to rethink the guest journey and take advantage of your revenue potential. At ExpectMe, we're more than happy to support you in that process, not just by offering you an innovative room selection platform, but also with advice from hospitality experts in operations and revenue management. I think I made it within the 7 minutes. Thank you very much. And yeah, let's see if we need to switch to the next one or there's a question.
I think we can leave the questions to the last minute. Thank you so much. It was really interesting. I do have a few questions for you, but then cliffhanger, I'll just do them later. So the next speaker, Allard, I hope you're up for this as well.
Great. I can see we can follow in your footsteps, Jeroen. Very interesting topic indeed. Thank you all in the audience for taking time out to look in this area of personalization. It's definitely a focus area in our industry, and definitely a lot of new capabilities have arisen with technological advances. So myself, I've been in the industry for well over 25 years, the last 10 years in hospitality technology and distribution, but before that, indeed, working in hotels itself to do that personalization in the old-fashioned way. That's not always the best, though, and that's why I now work with Cendyn. It's an innovator and has been for a very long time in this field, looking at guest profiles and guest preferences and how hotels can use that data long before this became a trend, starting it in the mid-1990s. And that's why a lot of our hotel partners have been with us for a long time on that component and utilizing that for the booking journey to help find new business, help grow that, and of course, help your contacts to book it. So what does that mean? Well, let's look into that a little bit more. So first of all, it is worth pointing out that just when we talk about personalization, it is not just about the book phase of the journey. A lot of guests have more than 10 contact moments with a brand before they make a purchase decision. So it matters to start personalization at the earliest stage with a find phase already. In fact, over 80% of Generation Z likes personalized ads on digital marketing, on media, on Instagram, on Facebook. It's not always on the website where they land, although of course that does need to be optimized to make sure it is in line with your value offering. The website can be personalized though to a large extent. If they find you from an ad on digital marketing and they land on your website and it shows very different look and feel and a different journey than what the guest was expecting, there's a disconnect. And the personalization is only one part of the booking journey. But the next step they dive into, the personalization has disappeared all of a sudden. That's where a platform comes into its own, to make sure it's a holistic approach and to make sure that the guest has that seamless experience to build that picture in their head as well. That is possible with the modern technology. So the website can be adapted to the promotion that they land on, and the campaign can be optimized for each guest, depending on what their preferences are, what your historic data is, and knowledge about them. And if it's a new guest, you can still do a lot of personalization with lookalike modeling. Google Performance Max, for example, enables you to target specific guests on metrics that you put in, and they will help you build a campaign. And we can help you manage that campaign. The website itself is not static either. It should dynamically change depending on what the guest is looking at, where they're focused on, how much time they spend on an area. The website can change and drive different content for a new guest or for repeat guests to make sure it always seems fresh when they land on it. And that's important because also it helps build your brand. So if there's OTAs on the cutting you really want to make sure that your brand is always up on the forefront of their mind, and that your technology enables you to also change rates dynamically if that happens. Now, it does pay off, which is good. It's not just an investment in marketing. It actually drives incremental revenue for you and your hotel brand. The Beach, for example, the Beach Terrace, that has a strong focus on finding new business and shifting business from OTAs. And that really not only helped them in website revenue, but they also got over 50% increase in bookings via that direct channel, which is a great result. But we've also seen with the Refinery. The Refinery had a core focus on outperforming their competitive set. They not only had a strong increase in website revenue, but also increase in the length of stay on the room night. So that matters because, of course, the personalization needs to be done throughout the booking journey, which matters because, of course, first you want to make sure that the hotel guest books your property and not your competitor's property. And then you want to personalize it so you give them the best value offering. It starts also by giving dynamic pricing rules, which you can do nowadays. So you can start offering different offers for somebody logging in from a geographic area, for Germany or for France, particularly useful information if you know there's a school holiday there, or they're browsing for length of stay pattern that's interesting for you, or they have a specific language requirement. That's straight where you can change your dynamic offering built on that. It's not only for a hotel guest that visit it, it's also for corporate guests. If they find you from a promotion to a corporate segment, they still have a booking journey to complete. And you can personalize that with a corporate offer, with different imagery, different text, and different offers for food and beverage discount for employees, for example. But it's still one campaign you can manage. So it's not an overload for your already very busy hotel staff, because they're busy not only on room revenue, they also need to look at other departments in the hotel. And they too need to be personalized. So personalizing your meetings and events offering or your food and beverage offering pays off as well. For example, the Roslyn Beach Hotel, which has been with us a long time, they really had a strong strategy to start driving revenue for the meetings and event space and for the wedding offering, and to really personalize that. Now, we all know if you can convert one extra wedding, it pays off handsomely, not only in food and beverage spends, but also in accommodation spends and related expenditure. The Pilgrim Hotel had a different goal. They really wanted to find new guests and grow their database. And not only did that book results in internal bookings, but also in a 25% increase in ADR. Before you can grow your database and grow your contacts, of course, you got to know them. And that's where automation can help. A lot of hotels struggling with staff changeovers and with staff knowledge, and sometimes there's little recognition in the food and beverage department or the reception from actually really loyal guests that have been with you many, many times. So you want to have one source of truth for all your guest data to make sure the guest profile has a holistic view, whether your hotel guest contacts you via Facebook, via WhatsApp, via Instagram, or from an email campaign. And you want to keep track of that, but also you want to act on it. So just working with one single segment for your guest profile is no longer up to date. You want to make sure that the guest may be staying with you for business one day, but you want to have smart text on that. That if he also uses your spa facilities, there's still a leisure component that is important for a guest, for offerings. And if they bring a partner, then it's important that you send special promotions to her to make sure she got an offer for the partner stay as well. And if they do interact with that offer, you want to make sure that's locked in the system and the system acts on it dynamically. So if they act on your Facebook campaign, that gets locked, and then the follow-up message you send is tailored to that. If they have seen it, but they have not interacted with it, you may want to send a different follow-up message. You want to personalize that content. It's not just when a guest looks for you, you want to proactively take ownership of that journey, and that's perfectly possible with technology nowadays, throughout the whole booking experience of your guest. Because from the guest, it's not one touch point. The power of personalization really comes into its own if you look at the whole find phase, the book phase, and the grow phase. Well, the case study for the Safiro that's available on our website speaks for itself, I think. The Onyx hotels, it's also very good to see they also started personalizing and started using different types of metrics. They started to look at, okay, how much extra revenue can we get from a successful mailing campaign? How many room types can we upsell? We do a special promotion indeed for that. Those guest segments that have booked with us before and booked a different room type on a repeat visit. So just look at personalization for one module, one piece of your technology stack is not sufficient. You're not going to see the incremental results that we all look for, but also that enhancement of the guest journey. We want to look at the find, book, and grow phase. And if you want to find out a little bit more about this, do contact us afterwards, and I'm happy to connect, or we can discuss it further in a panel in a bit. Thank you.
No, thank you, Allard. It was really interesting. Thank you so much. When it comes to the participants, we received one question from one of the participants watching. I'd like to ask you to maybe, if you have a few more questions, please do let us know, and we will take them up during the panel discussion afterwards. I have a few juicy ones for you as well, Allard. But let's maybe not talk about that. Let's maybe see if the final speaker of the final expert speaker of today is also up to the Pecha Kucha format.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Well, thank you for joining, everyone. I see some familiar faces in the attendee list, so hi, everybody. So today we've seen a few different examples of personalization. I'm going to specifically touch on some everyday situations where personalization can be applied within the direct booking journey. So let's dive in. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the Hotels Network, we've created a new space or a new category of product within the hotel tech stack. So we're not a CRM, we're not a revenue management platform, but instead we layer on top of any website or booking engine that you're using in order to help personalize the direct booking experience. Within this direct booking space, we've been winning multiple awards now, year over year. And this has allowed us to become the #1 provider when it comes to personalization on the direct channel. What we do at the Hotels Network is we combine data with personalization in order to help grow specific metrics that you have in mind. And I'll take we'll take a look at a few. And then what we've done there is to help guide the users in order to complete that reservation or improve the average booking value. A lot of the work that we've done within this space has taken a lot of inspiration from things that we're using on a daily basis, whether it's Netflix, Spotify, Amazon. Our day-to-day lives have been personalized in a variety of different ways. So what we want to do is we want to try and bring this idea to hospitality. There, you see a bunch of different examples for Stranger Things. What Netflix does is they use a lot of data in order to decide which type of image you'll actually see for the same show, depending on your past viewing history. Personalization is on the rise in hospitality. We now are seeing a lot of different roles starting to form, whether it's Miguel's at Radisson looking at personalization, or Diane's at Strawberry, Julie's at Hilton. That the space within hospitality is starting to evolve on the topic of personalization. But what I wanted to do is kind of bring it down and see how independent hotels or small chains can also apply these types of tactics. And there's a variety of different ways to do that. As you can see, we have over 30 or more different targeting capabilities in order to help personalize that experience. And the first example I have here is looking at improving uptake of specific special offers for families, for example. So this is great because if your website is static and you want to create some movement to it, nowadays luxury brands are working with a lot of video, you can start to adjust the content depending on who's searching. Likewise, whether you're the thief in Norway, you can also personalize the experience depending on how likely someone is to complete a reservation. This is really interesting because we can assign a score to say, this person on your website has a 30% chance of completing a reservation, probably more incentivized by a discount like we saw in the previous example. If length of stay or improving length of stay is one of your goals, I have 2 examples here that work really well. This one's from the Goldsmeden hotels in Denmark. So when a search includes 2 nights, of course you want to push them if there is some flexibility in their stay to stay that 3rd night. So you can use different content to push people to stay longer. Hotel Kungsträdgården in Stockholm also does a great job of this, but when people are leaving the page. So when there's a 2-night search and you're leaving the page, it's giving up on a 10% already, click here to continue with your reservation. Or for 3 nights, you're giving up on 15% off. So it's a really fun way of just engaging with the users in real time and encouraging them to book that specific special offer. The same applies, and I wanted to make this a little bit festive with Easter coming up. You can also highlight different types of special offers that don't have to be length of stay, but can be seasonal as well. Here with the Muse booking engine as well, you have users or the hotel which is creating an offer say your search qualifies for our 20% off for a limited time only. Click here to apply the offer. This is a really great way to just show different special offers depending on the dates that people are searching, instead of giving them another offer that might not be applicable. Because, for example, that spring offer might not be valid for your November dates. Food and beverage is also a great ancillary at a lot of different hotels. So sometimes it's not just about the room booking. So you can also highlight your food and beverage offers to encourage increasing your average booking value, not just your booking. Growing your marketing database is also a fantastic way to stay in touch with your guests. And this can be done when someone is leaving your page. You can encourage them to join your loyalty program and benefit from a specific discount when they sign up. So this is a nice way to continue that loyalty that you're starting to create. If you want to create some urgency, just like this picture right now, you can add countdown clocks to your different types of messages, just to create that, again, sense of urgency to encourage people to go with that specific special offer. When OTAs are undercutting your best available rate, you can, within a format called the price comparison, reassure them that wherever they go, there is a best price guarantee. So you can see at the bottom there that the guest is being reassured that by applying a 20% off or a 10% off, they'll get that booking. And that discount would only appear if the OTAs were undercutting you. If business leads is a priority for you, which a little bit different to marketing leads, what you can do, and Bank Hotel does a great job of this, is when the search is only for weekdays and includes 1 adult, they have this message appear to say that they qualify for 10% off, and then they can select the company name, company email, and then the sales team can engage with them to also create some corporate rates as well. So I've highlighted a lot of different examples on how to engage with your guests, but if you actually want to learn from what your guests are thinking, why not ask them? This is also a nice way upon exit to collect a little bit more information from your guests in a variety of different questions that you might want to have from them. And then here, the hotel in Mayfair is only targeting US visitors because they have a high average booking value. The same applies to Sweden, Norway. Typically when guests are coming from those markets, they tend to stay longer and spend more. So why not present a message that just says, hey, US visitor, why not book with us today? Thank you. That was really great. I don't know if anyone has any questions, because I think it's question time now.
Well, I do have a few questions, and we got one question for Jeroen. To all participants, please do, if you have questions, just chat away or Q&A away if you want to. Let's see if we can just get the nice discussion going. And I think, well, let's go over to the first question coming from the participants. It comes from Pontus Falk, and I think this is also, I mean, from a revenue management perspective, Jeroen. I mean, what we're trying to do is like create some kind of flexibility. We sometimes want to just like play with our room types, upgrade maybe to get a room type available that is at exactly the right price point. Or as Pontus also says, well, okay, I mean, how do you do that if somebody wants to prolong a room stay and then there's somebody else there that had paid just like €5 for that specific room?
Yep.
How would you know how to handle that?
Well, I think a few things. I think, first of all, we don't say you should have only one room type. Obviously, you have certain ones. The airline has 3 generally, right? Maybe 4 if they have a first class or suite. We might need 4 or 5 as well. I don't know. And every hotel will be different. So I'm not saying go to one. We also offer upselling. So in the room selection, you can select a room that was of the room type you originally booked, but obviously we're also trying to sell you a higher room class to get an even higher incremental revenue. So I think that's definitely there. But I think it's a little bit the other way around. Often you have like 50 standard rooms, but 2 or 3 are slightly different. It's not worth making another room type for it, but with us you can then give, sell them slightly higher and really sell those features of that individual room and monetize on those. So I think that's the other way around. The second one is obviously an operational question, something that generally the front office manager gets very nervous about. These things can happen, right? I mean, we obviously understand that guests can extend, or maybe there's a flood in the room and you have to give the room away. I think an airline has the same, right? Maybe the seat, they want to shuffle things around. You'll handle that from an operational perspective. So far, there's been a lot more fear for it. We don't really have seen that with any of our clients. Because unfortunately, not yet, all of our hotels or all of the guests are selecting their rooms. So from an operations perspective, you have plenty of room to work with. But yeah, I mean, it might happen in an ad hoc situation that a room has been extended and another guest has selected it. Then you do what you do best: wow the guest, give them something else, give them an upgrade, or compensate them one way and make sure that they leave happily ever after.
Okay.
And actually, I can add to that as well, because from a technology standpoint, when we offer this type of upgrade in a booking journey, of course, if you only have one superior room type and that's already booked, the system will not offer that superior room type. It would actually offer another room type that is available, like the penthouse suite or the presidential suite or whatever you may have, and then sort of do that for an upgrade of €15 in this scenario then. Because of course you don't want to offer something to one guest and take it away. That's not good for the booking journey. If they get the feeling you're taking something away, that's not good. But what you can do is you can actually not only offer then a superior room type, if that's no longer fully booked, you offer the presidential room type, but you can also use it to create a sense of urgency. Oh, these room types are already booked, but we still have left available because other bookers have fully booked this. What we still have left available is the presidential suite. And then you can lock that in now. And like what Sonia mentioned, you can make this a time-bound offer. We can hold this room for you for a certain amount of time, or you need to confirm this now. So that's not only good for you as a revenue point of view, but from a guest point of view, it is relevant information at the point of sale. So it's not sort of a hard sell. It's literally, we only have a few of these room types left available. If you want to lock it in, you need to act, because they will go, and other people have done so before you. So that's a nice conversation to have.
Thank you for that, Allard. Thank you. I was thinking, because both you, Allard and Sonia, you were into this like personalized messages, so you can adapt your website to the guest that is just like looking at that moment. And I was thinking also, like, it's a nice thing that we can do that nowadays. I mean, just for a few years ago, I think that was just like something like for a future to have this kind of adaptation to your website. Or am I wrong?
No.
Don't you dare say it.
Sonia, you want to take it first?
Well, then, I mean, Sonia, one thing, you work a lot with pop-up messages, right? And I sometimes feel like when I go to a website and I just want to see, okay, where are they at? And it's like book now, and that's not where I'm at that moment. So if I can put you on the spot, do you have some best practices on pop-up windows? But I have an extra one, because Google, from an SEO perspective, they actually don't really like too many pop-ups. Would you know if that is true, or if that has changed?
So that's where personalization actually becomes quite handy, because even though we have all these different types of formats to choose from that can be pop-ups, or we can also embed them. We have this new option which comes from the request from the luxury brands. Still, pop-ups do convert better than inline messages, because the information tends to get lost within the page. So having something appear does tend to have a higher impact on conversion. But going back to the point, personalization is there so that when you do want to engage with that user in a more interactive way, instead of having 5 things pop up, you personalize the experience depending on how the user is behaving and who they are. So naturally, you could have 5 different pop-ups, but none of those 5 would appear to the same person. It would depend on who they are. So that can be combined with things like, okay, so I'm viewing the booking engine and I have 2 children. Well, something could appear, but that would only be catered to families, versus in the booking engine, you could have something different for a couple as a romantic offer, for example, or a single traveler who might be a business traveler. Those 3 pop-ups could be pretty similar in the fact that they're trying to improve uptake of special offers, but those 3 wouldn't appear at the same time. And that's what we try and help the hotels with when they utilize the platform, is to try and limit the number of messages they create and leverage the personalization in order to personalize that journey for each user. But then, you could just kind of not do any of that and then just leverage AI and allow a machine to decide who sees what, which is what the thief is doing with the types of discounts that they give out. So a machine would be deciding, okay, this user is a low intent user, this is the strategy they see, versus this person is a high intent user. Again, so different type of journey. A high intent user is probably not motivated or doesn't need that discount. Of course, they would be motivated by the discount, but they don't need it because we already know they're going to book. So there is where you start to upsell in real time as well.
So I think actually, because if you talk about personalization and these pop-ups or the messages coming up on a personalized level, now, this is not a leading question actually, but then just looking at a website and then immediately say book now, would that be a best practice that you would go for, or would you just wait until I'm starting to use the website?
It depends on the type of hotel. Because in luxury, probably not. If you have a really low conversion in the homepage but a really high conversion in the booking engine, then yeah, you probably want to push more people into that booking engine set, but it depends on how you communicate that. What we typically recommend is on a first-time visit, just to softly highlight the benefits of booking direct. On a second-time visit, highlight the convenience of the location, for example. Because sometimes, hoteliers dedicate all this time to putting all this content on their website, and then people end up reading only 10% of it. And that's another part of personalization, where you just start to present the most relevant content depending on where they are in their journey. So that can depend on first time, second time. We would even know if you're coming back to the website and you already have a reservation. So then that changes completely, because it's not about book now, it's about highlighting the spa, the restaurant, and getting those table bookings or those spa bookings instead. So it really varies.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that as well, that just working with generic pop-ups, it creates clutter in the booking journey, and it's proven it's just a distraction from a customer point of view. You want to not only sort of make sure that whatever you offer is relevant for the guest at the point where they're in the booking journey. So on the main website, you may not want to do it. It's only when they start going into the funnel, going to the calendar for looking for availability, you may want to highlight certain aspects. But to come back to the first question as well, you can tailor that depending on where the geographic area where the person is coming from, the stay range that they're looking at, historic data as well, if they've given consent to cookies or something else, and when they visited your website in the past, that information can actually be used. You can also see where they're coming from, what they've looked at before. So then you can start offering personalized messages that offer value. And then you can also show them the benefits of booking direct without locking them into prepayment or offering flexible terms, but actually just saying book now because this offer is going to expire soon. There's a very limited use case for that. And that's where it comes into its own to think about a strategy like, okay, what do you want to achieve? Which guest do you want to focus on and how does it work?
Thank you. Yeah.
The important thing here, I mean, depending on every style of hotel, is experimenting. A/B testing is so key in these situations because you can recommend one thing to one hotel and it might not work for them. So all of these strategies should be A/B tested just to see which one works better, or even ABC tested. Like, for example, not showing an offer versus showing a 10% versus a 5%. In many tests that we've done, the 5% tends to work better than the 10% when you don't know it's there.
Yeah. And you can absolutely see, so repeat guests. So also if they log into your website, a lot of repeat guests, particularly if you have a database that keeps their profile on order, or they contact you via link in your social media, your marketing outreach, so your Facebook campaign or your Instagram site. So that's indeed, Sandra, how you can track if that's a repeat guest, if they've been with you before.
Yeah.
If you give acceptance to cookies, you can start using those as well.
Thank you. Yeah. We got a question regarding cookies from Sandra, and that I think is a very good question. But I would like to go maybe just like back to the first presentation, like Jeroen. Jeroen, when you were starting to talk, I would say like, yeah, okay, you can look at airlines, how they do it, but it's easy. I mean, it's a seat. You are being transported from A to C. And I can imagine that a lot of hoteliers that are listening at that moment were just like arguing, but what about personalization? I mean, I would like to have several room types because I would like to adapt my room type to a certain customer. When you were talking, maybe I think like, okay, what I understand what you're trying to do is like clean up your room types. So I think I have two questions. Like, okay, how do you stand about just like personalized room types? The other thing is maybe also, how difficult is it for you to have that first talk with hoteliers that love to have personalized rooms?
Yeah, so I think two things. I mean, obviously, we're not trying to copy everything from the airlines. It's getting some inspiration and see what are some of the things that are relevant to us, and maybe think differently about how we've done things, just because we've been doing it for many years, right? I think that's the main purpose. I think on the, as I said before, you probably still need room types, and we're not saying to move away from that. But I would say that the difficulty in the booking process right now is that we offer a lot of unclear room types that all looks more or less the same. There's no clear descriptions. The comparison is not in a grid, so you can easily see, yeah, you know what, I understand that room is bigger, it is a, you know, it has a sea view, it has whatever other features. I understand why that's $20, $30, $40 more. There's a lot, it's a long way to understand that, whereas the airlines have it very clearly distinguished, very clearly defined, and easy to compare. And I think the last point is that instead of thinking of room types, you now have the options to think of rooms. And so, you know, if you think about upselling, everybody has always talked about room type upselling, but I can buy upsell to a sea view room, and there's probably a nice picture on the website of a beautiful sea view, but then I'm actually on the first floor with a tree in front of me, and I can sort of see the sea, but not really. And so, you know, for me, personalization is not a room type, which still has 50 rooms into it, perhaps. what we're offering is that you have the option to monetize each individual room and apply features and attributes to them that are valuable to the guests, so that the guests through that discovery phase and say, these are the features that I'm interested in or that is valuable to me, they get a list of individual rooms to choose from, and they can really personalize their stay. I want room 302 or 508 because 1, 2, 3, right? And so it's a change of focus of thinking of just on room types, which is what we've always done because we didn't have the technology to think otherwise. Now there's an option to actually sell each individual room. And so how do you deal with that? Again, without creating even further stress of choice to the guests by now offering them 300 rooms to choose from. That's why we sort of say, break it up in 2 steps, a very clear, easy way to convert the booking, get that credit card and that email address, close the sale, and then have people with a little bit more time go through that discovery phase and let them dream and really then personalize their booking and their stay they really want to.
Thank you. Allard has something to say about that as well.
I thought so before you move into the next question, because I do think 2 things that Jeroen I find interesting. So first of all, I think the clutter of the booking engines that you're referring to, it depends very much which provider you're looking at. There's a lot of solutions like our own that make it very easy and usually clutter-free. Actually, the booking journey itself makes it easy. But also, I don't think in a hospitality sector that guests are really interested in choosing room 502 or 615, because a lot of guests, they would not remember the specific room unless you have a unique property or some guests who may have stayed on a special occasion, for example. What is relevant is indeed start looking at attributes of the room. So are you interested in paying for an upgrade? Are you interested in paying for a balcony? Would you like a jacuzzi in the room? And then the specific room type. That's usually less important for a guest. And that's how you can approach the booking journey, by really focusing on value rather than expecting them to look at the room number and remember that.
You want to say
Yeah,
something
I'm
about
happy
that?
to jump in, but I think it's great. I mean, we didn't obviously show all the features. We didn't really want this to be a sales pitch, but we're definitely happy to show people a demo, right? We definitely don't provide you with now a whole big list of saying room 302, 508, et cetera, we actually start by attributes, right? So you ask the guests, what are the attributes that you're interested in? And then we give them a personalized selection of, hey, then these are the rooms you might look into. For privacy reasons, we don't actually tell them up front that it is room 302 and security purposes. Only at the time of booking, we will tell them that it was room 302 or whichever they chose. But really, I think that attribute selling, which you mentioned, is really the key, right? To ask people what attributes and values they're interested in, and then give them a personalized selection based on those attributes, not by room types, but by individual rooms that they can select on that floor plan.
Thank you for that. Attribute-based pricing is going to be actually the subject for next year, for next time. But if I may, I don't know, Allard, if you have like a short thing to say about this. Otherwise, maybe I had like a few more questions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's when you approach it like that, it becomes more relevant also for the hotel guest. And of course, your system should remember the last time they stayed with you, what the room type they booked then and what preferences they had. So you can embed it straight away in your offer, so they don't need to go through the process each time.
Yeah, I think actually, I mean, and maybe we could, maybe Sonia would be a very good person to reply to this, because yeah, I mean, cookies, in all honesty, we know that sometimes the cookies, I mean, just like reacting to them they're going to disappear. I'm going to be a cookie-less world, which is like terrible because I love cookies. But how would you just like go if we can't use the cookies anymore in a future? What will be then? Is there a way for you to still personalize?
Yeah, so we actually went cookieless we launched the cookieless platform during ITB, which was 2 weeks ago. So our platform runs without any cookies. I don't know how many times we can say the word cookie, but we've built a proprietary system using artificial intelligence that actually allows more accuracy in the way that we track users. just because we removed this idea of collisions. And collisions in that space, what happens is that two mobile users can actually be identified as one mobile user if they're on, in the same building, for example. So what we've done with artificial intelligence is, in order to identify users, take things into consideration, like what is that one individual's battery life versus the other one. And we notice that one has an 80% battery life and the other one has a 30. So now this user, which at one point would have be considered as one, is now considered two. So the platform has gotten a lot more accurate in the way that we track users as well. And this is really interesting and quite an interesting direction for the hotels network, because I don't think anyone else has gone cookieless yet.
No,
There's some exciting developments as well now in the sphere of Google. Of course, they're driving a large part of this new trend. And now we're also partnering with Google Performance Max, where you can actually reverse the whole dynamic. You can really start giving your metrics and your persona of ideal guest and ideal type of person staying in your hotel. And Google itself will start creating ads based on your content, based on your metrics with your dynamic rates, and start delivering those to targeted hotel guests. So you can really start qualifying from a completely different point of view. You don't need to sit back and wait for people to start looking for you. You can proactively take charge of that and really start reaching out to them with tailored offerings based on their preferences and their profiles. So it's not, it's absolutely an evolution in the industry, which only opens more potential for hoteliers looking into that.
Yeah, that's actually also the thing that I was thinking about when I listened to you. Actually, I mean, technology, it goes really fast. I mean, at the same time, distribution platforms are just also changing. And I love this thing because, I mean, I think what you offer is really just like a way for hotels to just move away, be much more better at being personal, at giving personalized messages. Sorry. One of the things that I think I got from all three of you is the way we package, because I think what you all three say is like, okay, you can do packaging, but then having their guests personalize their own attributes, their own the whatever they want to buy, might be a good way forward. Or would you say no, packaging is still here to stay because it's easy to just like buy it? What's your opinion about it? Any one of you?
Yeah, my opinion is, I think that, throughout my career, I've always have created many packages, but they hardly sold. I think people sometimes see it to say, oh, what are the options that you can have at the hotel? But I think there's far better ways of doing it now. It's this typical thing that you offer a package with a 60-minute massage. I might want a 90-minute massage, then the package completely becomes irrelevant. And so I think if you have attributes that people can tailor their own packages, I think today through technology that's possible, and I think that's a far better one. Just sell the room, make it easy, and then personalize and upsell.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And you can also look at it in a modern point of view, like a package is a preset formula, which you want to offer and to potential guests. If you start looking at bundling, however, it's a different point of view. You can say like, okay, if you enhance your stay with this 90-minute massage, we can give you a discount on both, or we can give you a value add, or you can pre-book a specific slot for that. They have a very different discussion. So it's still a type of package, but it's just a far more agile way to look at it. And when people are looking for experiences, as a lot of them are nowadays, not just an overnight stay, but an experience on even the business leisure combined trip, that's when it really starts to matter.
Thank you. Final word for Sonia.
Yeah, so I think it varies by property, but the key thing here is that it's a major differentiator with the OTAs. So if you're a hotel and the OTAs are offering only a room option, then going to the direct site, if you give a packaged offer or something a little bit different, it's a nice differentiator with them. I'm personally a new mom, so the family offers, as you saw, were some of my examples, and those really resonate with me because sometimes I don't have the time to decide on, the zoo ticket with the hotel and everything like that. So if you can bundle that for me, that eases the process. But again, it's it's so different for so many people and so different for each hotel.
Yeah.
A/B test it.
I think it's nice. The final words were just like a consultancy, a consultant reply, right? It depends, but I think you're quite right. You can't just like generalize it. But I do see that we're moving away a little bit from just like over packaging to just like a few simple packages, make it easy, and then just like try to make an upsell afterwards. Well, I think conscious for time, so it was the end of the webinar so far. I hope you had an enjoyable hour. And our next webinar will be on the 23rd of May. Topic, as said, of that webinar is about attribute-based pricing, and we wonder if it's the future of pricing. So we're going to extend our discussions there. So I hope you will join again. We will send a recording of the webinar to you as soon as possible. Now, for participants in the Baltics, in April, we return to Vilnius, Riga, and Tallinn with our Revenue Forum seminars. They are on the 16th to the 18th of April. We do this as a roadshow where we just like visit one city per day. Revenue Forum seminar currently runs in 12 cities and 10 countries. We have one coming up in June in the Benelux. We have one in September in Scandinavia, and we have a few more in the Nordics coming up in November. This is for hoteliers who want to spend a half day of inspiration and networking, and it's free of charge. You can find the information about our seminars and webinars as well on our website, revenueforum.net. Last but not least, on the 30th of January 2025, so next year we will hold our next Global Revenue Forum event again. It's a unique and hybrid event, and it's held simultaneously in Stockholm, London, Milan, as well as online. This year we did it also on the 30th of January, but then on a Tuesday we had even just like an event in Lisbon, in Geneva, in Lausanne, and in Berlin going on at the same time. We're going to add a few more cities in the future, so it's really going to be a really international event. Now, for those who want to visit Stockholm on the 30th of January, we have a fantastic book very early offer for 1,500 kroners. This is about 135 euros and it's ex-VAT. So a full day of inspiration will never be cheaper. Book latest 7th of June to get this offer. And that was all from us for today. Hope to meet you on our next webinar or on one of our seminars or events we organize. Thank you very much to our speakers, Jeroen Vaassen, Sonia Merena, and Allard Alfrink for your inspiration. Thank you as well to my colleague, Johanna Aline, for handling the slides and taking care of the organization of the webinar. And thank you all participants for listening. Hope to see you again next time.